Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Find Ways to FitzgeraldStephens. I hope everyone has had an extraordinary, well planned out day. Hope you had the day that you work for, the day that you earn, the day that you plan for, and the day that you grind for. I wish nothing but peace and blessings to you and your family. Appreciate you guys once again for allowing me to come into your home and just talk to you about a couple things that's on my mind right now that I know that it would be a benefit to you. The title of this stream is Get Serious About the Business of Living. Get serious about the business of living. Your life and the way you live your life is something that is extraordinary, very precious, and very valuable. You must be fulfilled in your life. You have to be. I know there's a consensus that some people maybe would disagree with that statement, but my fulfillment is different from your fulfillment. I choose to believe that I am fulfilled in my life each and every single day that I have a life. A lot of that is based on my attitude. Certainly a huge portion of that is based on my actions. A huge portion of that is based on my relationship with my creator and my fellow man and more importantly, myself. You have to believe that you're winning every single day. You have to, because you will never get that day back again. Some people, based on the way they live their life, it's obvious they're not serious about their life. It's obvious they're not serious about fulfilling the purpose that they were placed here for. It's obvious that they're not serious about working the goals that they have, or they are going after the aspirations with vigor and strength and tenacity. They seem to go through life like lackadaisical, almost like a lottery ticket mentality. What will be, and if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. I guess it wasn't meant to be, and all that kind of nice talk that doesn't benefit them or anyone who is dependent upon them. Then you have that other group. They're very goal oriented. They're very serious about living life on their terms, man. Those are the people that have the vision boards, and those are the people that have the written goals, and those are the people that put in the work, and those are the people who disdain the word lucky, and those are the people who create their own breaks and create their own opportunities. Those are the people who feel that they're never at a deficit because they're always going after it. They're always grinding. They're always showing up, staying late. And here's a real key to that. They're enjoying the journey while they're on their way to the destination. They are literally enjoying the journey while they're on their way to the destination. So many people get that wrong. I used to, man. It took me years to understand that statement I just said to you guys, because the people will have the tendency to get frustrated because they think they're not progressing fast enough. So if you look back and you see how far you come, you will literally surprise yourself to see the progress you have made when you first started out. Life is made to be celebrated, not endured. The business of living is something that we're doing every single day, every single moment of our lives, simply by the choices we are making and the actions we are taking. It's not just luck, and time is so precious. Life, what God gives to man, it's so precious, and I'll dare to say, compared with eternity, so short. You don't get to go down to the store and buy more time. You don't get to get on one of the giant retailers and order more time online. Once it's used, you will never see that moment again. Therefore, if you are a person who really values your time, if you're a person who is very, very cognizant of time, that is very, very respectful of time, and you're a person who enjoys life. I mean, the sky is blue, the sun is bright, the moon is full, the ocean waves are crashing, the birds are singing. If you're a type of person who can squeeze pleasure out of life, no matter what state you are, congratulations, you are enjoying the business of living. Most people are going to think, some people, should I say, are going to think by definition of making extreme well, you're going after you're achieving your goals, and you got exactly what you want. You have the man or the woman you want. You have the house you want. You're driving the car you want. You have the company you want. You have the 2.5 children that you want. You have the college degree, and you have all that stuff. Those are part of the equation, yes. But the big part of the equation is, are you enjoying the journey? That's what I mean by the business of living. On your way to the destination, are you enjoying you? Are you enjoying the people who love you? Are you enjoying doing the things that you love? Are you being thankful and grateful that you even have the opportunity to be a part of, to be on God's earth? Are you satisfied with that? Or do you have an inward smile? Do you have a big smile in your voice? Do your eyes light up? Because you have to learn how to enjoy the journey. If you don't enjoy the journey, even when you reach your goal, it's still going to be drudgery for you, because you're not going to feel that you accomplished enough. You're not going to feel that you're good enough. You're not going to feel that you achieved anything that you want to do. When you work in that level, you're always comparing yourself to others. You're never satisfied with you. You're always saying, yeah, I can do better. Yes, you can. Yeah, I should be further in my life. Maybe you should. But if you keep an attitude like an attitude that's ungrateful and unappreciative like that, I can promise you, when you get to the goal, it ain't going to matter to you. It's not going to be as nearly as sweet as you thought it was going to be. It's not going to be nearly enjoyable as you thought it was going to be. It's not going to bring you the satisfaction you thought it want to be. Why? Because you was miserable all the way to the journey. You was miserable all the way while you was on your way trying to get it. Life is meant to be enjoyed, ladies and gentlemen. The business of living involves being thankful, involves being grateful, involves getting up every day saying that you have given your maximum reasonable effort to make yourself better, or to make situations better than they were the day before. That is what it's about. That is what about, and everything starts with attitude. I mean, there's been dozens upon dozens of books talking about attitude and talk about gratefulness and thankfulness. Perhaps the best known one is the Holy Bible. It talks about having a grateful spirit and a grateful heart. I'm beginning to understand that now, because that is the oil of life. That is the water of life. That is the refreshment. That is the breath of fresh air in your lungs. You have to have those type of attitudes in order to do the journey. Hey, listen, you're traveling to somewhere. You're traveling to somewhere in order to achieve something. Why be all miserable on the way? Why be miserable on the way? Now, if you're one of those person that you feel that you want to hold on to that misery and that bitterness, okay, all right. Let's see, how has that served you so far? Has that brought you closer to your goal? How is it affecting the people around you? Would they consider you a neat person, a good person? Or would they consider you a person who they want to be around? Would you be a person who would want to hang out with you? Would you be the person who would want to celebrate with? Would you be the person who would want to celebrate with you while you're on your way to achieving that goal? And many people are not. Many people seem to think that they owe it to the world to let them know just how miserable they are, and let them know what problems are happening in the world, and what things are going wrong in their lives, and what things are not going right, and who done did them wrong song, and all that kind of belittling, unfulfilling activities that stops the business of living. That's not the business of living. That's the business of sorrow. And believe me, they are very, very different. The business of living versus the business of sorrow. Believe me, you don't want the business of sorrow. You can have sorrow just by switching on the news. You can have sorrow, but just by listening to other people complain and whine and gossip and stuff. You can have sorrow just looking around at your life, and you're not driving a car you want, or you're not living in a house you want. You live in an apartment, or even you're living with someone. You can just concentrate on those things and think how bad they are, And you can be ungrateful until you go look at someone who doesn't have a car, to someone who does, to someone who can't walk. Who, like I saw a gentleman yesterday, when I was walking, he didn't have any legs. So instantly I didn't think about how much my feet were hurt by walking on the concrete. That went away because I saw someone, that was in a much worse state than I was. It was my attitude that changed, and it has to be your attitude to change. What find ways to win, what we are trying to get your mental state and the thinking ways and for accomplishment. It all starts with the mind. And then with the mind, you have to have massive preceding correspondent actions that line up with where you're trying to go. You got to know where you have to go. You got to know where you're going, and you have to know when you got there. And then but one of the most important things that I hear very few people say or say in depth enough, you got to enjoy the journey while you're going to where you're going. You got to enjoy the journey on your way to the destination. If you don't, you will be miserable, and you will do an extraordinary good job of repelling people away from you, of repelling other opportunities to you, because who wants to be around a person who is ingrateful? Who wants to be a person who is not thankful? Who wants to be a person who always whines and brings the mood in the room down and has bad vibes and has bad energy? Who in the heck wants to be around that? I certainly don't. I mean, it's acidic to me. It's almost like rubbing your nails on a chalkboard. That type of sound, or any other sound that you can think of that irritates you to no end. And you don't want to be around that. If you're going to get serious about the business of living, you have got to get serious about being thankful and grateful and appreciative and celebratory about how far you've already come. It doesn't make a difference where you are right now. You're doing better than what you did yesterday. Oh, Fitzgerald, you don't know my story. Yesterday I was a multimillionaire. Yesterday, I wasn't sick. Today I'm in the hospital. Yesterday I had a great job, and today I'm unemployed. Yesterday I had a parent that was alive, and today they're not here anymore. I'm not negating the pain of that, but what can you do about it? If it was a job situation, get yourself in a position where you want to go get another one. Find something to create. If it was a lost parent, be grateful for the times you had with that parent. Believe me, I'm talking from personal experience. If it was something with your health, be grateful that you still have another day of life, another day to breathe. Health can come back. I've had that happen before like that. And I'm telling you, if you have an attitude and a grateful heart, it actually accelerates health. If you have an attitude and a grateful heart, and you learn to celebrate the journey on where you're going, it actually helps bring more things, more building blocks to help you achieve a better level of a better level of state of mind, a better level of resources, a better level of building blocks that's necessary for you to get out the situation. I've seen illustrations. I've seen a illustration rather. There was a guy in a pit, and he had a ladder, and there was another guy in the pit, and he had a ladder. Well, one guy in the pit, he was breaking his ladder up, and it saw that he was starting a fire. In other words, he was using the wood from the ladder to start the fire, to keep him temporary wrong in a harsh condition. The second guy, who was in the same pit with the same ladder, he wasn't burning the ladder. He was using the ladder to climb out the pit. What are you doing? What are you doing with the time? What are you serious about the business of living? What are you doing with the time that God Almighty has given you? Are you being celebratory of people? Or are you one of those being a gossiper, or you one of those individuals, you like putting your mouth on people and don't know anything about their story, don't know them. You just like criticize. You're a critic. You're criticizing the doer. You're criticizing someone else's channel, but you ain't did anything your own self. You're criticizing someone else's marriage, or even someone else get the divorce or the breakup of marriage, but you have no clue what the heck they went through. You have no clue about what's going on in their lives, in their household. You're criticizing some person who gets nervous when they get an assignment, but you have no clue that they may have been verbally abused by a parent or by a spouse or any situation. They just can't take that anymore. But they're a very good person. And so who are you to throw water on someone and who is trying to engage in the business of living just because you ain't? I mean, you should remove yourself from their lives. You should go in a room and don't come out until your attitude is different. Till you can be a building block to people's. But in order to be a building block to people, you have to be a building block to yourself. You're engaged in the business of sorrow. You're not engaged in the business of living. That's why even when you have the goal, once again, you're not going to enjoy it. Even when you have the perfect mate, the most beautiful woman, the most handsome man, the job with the most perks, because you're not thankful and everything like that, you're going to ruin it. Your pettiness is going to get in the way because you choose to engage in the business of sorrow instead of the business of living. And more importantly, you think it's your right to go ahead and stop other people from getting on with the business of living. You need to just leave. You need to disappear. You need to get out of people's lives until you can get serious about correcting that attitude and correcting that thought process, and it's really bringing nothing but death and despair to you. You know, and so but if you're serious about the business of living, let me give you a couple steps. Evaluate what you're doing. Have you ever taken time to really watch you? I know we watch other things, events and nature, but have you ever taken the time to really watch you? Have you ever really made it your business to be constant about the day and your actions or what you're thinking? Have you ever been busy about really watching what thoughts come in your mind? Have you ever done that? Have you ever put like a crossing guard in your mind and like, no, that's not consistent with what I'm thinking, and you stop it and you undo it? You know, you just unravel that. No, you have you ever thought about the habits that you have? Some people's destructive habits are very much revealed under pressure. Whether they nail bite or whether they're going out there going to look at pornography, or whether they do drugs, or whether they do some other destructive or frivolous activity. It's almost like it's on remote pilot, whether they drink too much coffee or ingest too much caffeine, or whether they binge eat, or whether they binge watch stuff that's not aligning with their life purpose, because it feels good. It feels good, just to grab something, and just because what you're trying to do, you're trying to anesthetize the pain. One of my thing is when I forget about my goals, or when I'm not confident or where I'm trying to go, I have a huge tendency to reach towards my cell phone. What are you looking at your cell phone, Fitzgerald? Well, nothing really much. A couple videos here, maybe playing some music. That's okay. But when that when I was sitting there sometimes binge watching Netflix, for like the whole weekend and not getting any other work done, like working on my channel, working in my other business, because I'm sitting up there watching a series I like, just literally all 14 episodes within the week. I had to make within the weekend. I'm sorry, the Friday through Saturday, even Sunday, I had to make a decision. Okay, I had to come up with how do I neutralize that? Well, the way I found to neutralize that was to shut my Netflix subscription off. No, I'm not saying that's what you need to do. Netflix is an awesome company. I love it. I still fight that trying to hook it up, but I know what I'm going to do. I had to make a decision about my health. I had to get into a position where I was I needed high blood pressure medicine because I was worrying, I was stressing, and I wasn't taking care of my body. And yes, a part of it was hereditary, and genetics that I received from my mom. But interesting with that, some things you can have a predisposition genetically. That's why a lot of doctors, or I'm sorry, a lot of insurance policies ask you, does anyone in your family have certain things? Because they're looking for a pattern. They understand bloodlines, even sometimes more than we do. And so, whereas my father, no high blood pressure at all. My two youngest brothers, no high blood pressure at all. My mother was she was on God's earth. She had high blood pressure, and guess what? Her oldest sons had that. Well, so I had to start doing things, and on top of that, where I used to enjoy a nice cigar. I don't drink and stuff like that, just enjoy a nice cigar. It ain't coming to the time, man. I was smoking these things back to back to back. And I wasn't exercising. I wasn't doing my push-ups and everything. And I was running out of breath. And all of a sudden, I got in the mirror one time and I started looking at my body. And like, oh man, I don't want to be sloppy like that. I don't want to be out of shape. I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be unattractive in the way my body's set. I don't want to walk in bad health because I've already lost it. So I made it my business to start going to the gym. I made it my business to start riding my bike. And lo and behold, the depression started leaving. Because when you're sitting there lifting that steel, ladies and gentlemen, you're up under those weights and you're riding that bike, man, you ain't got time to think about being depressed. You're trying to catch your breath and keep that heart pumping and achieve your exercise goal. But I noticed when I came home, I was sleeping better after a couple of weeks. I noticed that my skin was clearing up because I wasn't ingesting so much soda pop or anything like that. I just started drinking a lot of water with lemon and apple cider vinegar, and I stopped eating a lot of meat, heavy meat. Although I love a good steak, I switched primarily to albacore tuna. I went with sweet potatoes. I went with lamb and salmon. Those are my three meat: albacore tuna, salmon, and lamb. And I even cut down on my chicken. Lo and behold, I started feeling better. All of a sudden, the mind fog started coming away. I stopped trying to look at my phone so much at night, because what it would do, it would send my brain into hyperactive mode, and my brain could switch off. I stopped drinking so much water before I went to bed, because why? My bladder would fill up and it'd break my sleep, and I had to get up, keep getting up, keep getting up, keep getting up. I wasn't getting a full sleep, and then wonder why I'm sitting around there tired all the time. So I had to get serious about the business of living if I want to live. And this can be applied every area of your life. Right now, through a couple of events that I never would have foreseen. I live alone. I am alone and stuff. I had to understand. What is it that drives you, man? What you don't be like. Do you have a codependency thing? You think someone always has to be around you in order for you to be fulfilled? And I had to realize like, you know what, man? Maybe I do, because the way I'm doing. Maybe I need to really, really get to know me instead of thinking I'm going to find an identity, with someone else, and I was forced into that, because when my wife and I separated, and been separated for several years, I didn't get out there and jump into a relationship. I didn't get out there and do any of that. It wasn't time. I had to learn who in the heck FitzgeraldStephens was. I had to get busy about the business of living with Fitzgerald. I had to unravel a whole lot of thinking, that because I chose to do so, I'm able to speak to you guys about experiences I've learned along the way, and I'm ever growing. I had to get serious about my finances. Do I want to be destitute? Do I want to always be working under someone else's terms except mine? Do I always want to be locked in here in Tampa, Florida? Do I want to travel to Africa? East, West, South Africa? What do you want to do? I need to get serious about the business of living, and every single time it involves a grateful, thankful spirit combined with massive action in order to achieve that. Lo and behold, my skin started clearing up. My body started coming back, when I was like 20 as an undergrad at the University of Alabama, because I was putting in the work. I started sleeping better. I started enjoying my time alone more. And because I was enjoying my time alone more, I can enjoy my time when I was with other people, because I got serious about the business of living. I stopped isolating myself as much. I stopped belittling myself as much, thinking, like, hey, I haven't achieved. Here you are, you're in your 50s, and you was way further along, and you lost it. Your marriage broke up. You lost your home, and blah 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 blah. It wasn't doing me any good. I stopped thinking about that stuff. And I stopped going, and I started getting serious about the business living, starting right the heck where I am right now, and being grateful. Now, being grateful for what I was. I was looking at my home, my former home, just last night. Ladies and gentlemen, my first home that was 3,000 square feet in McDonough, Georgia, that I had built from the ground up. Moved to there 2004. And it was awesome in every single way. And so I brooded for years when I lost that home back in 2011. Brooded for years. But here I sit right now in a nice apartment down here in Tampa. It's mine. I got a place to call my own. And I value this home right here that I have just as much as I value that 3,000 square foot home. Why? It's the attitude. I don't have a fraction of the stuff that I used to have back then, but it's the attitude. My mind is enlarged. My heart is enlarged. I'm grateful. I guess that came from being older. I guess that came from being constant at the time, or I guess it came from, from stop hitting my head up against the wall and realizing that the change I want is already inside of me. It was my attitude was killing me, ladies and gentlemen. When I talk to you guys about the business living, and I talk to you about anything on my channel, I've lived it. That's why I can talk it so passionate. That's why I can just go ahead and tell you guys with absolutely certain, this stuff will work, because it will. Not only has it been proven in my life, it's been proven in many people's lives I talk to. It doesn't make a difference with color. It doesn't make a difference what part of the world you're in. It doesn't make a difference with sex. It doesn't make a difference with anything. It's your attitude that causes you to do the business of living. What are you doing with your life? Great, have goals. Great, have them written down. Great, have massive action to achieve them. Great, celebrate it with people. Great, great, keep resetting goals. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't learn how to enjoy the journey, if you don't learn how to be thankful while you're on the way to reach your goal, even when you have it, it will mean nothing to you. How do you explain multimillionaires jumping out of windows? Some of them. How do you explain people who seem to have everything they want, and everything you think you want, but they're miserable? How do you explain that? How do you explain the crowded bars around the world and people just inebriating themselves with alcohol? How do you explain the brothels, and how do you explain the side chicks and the side dudes and all this kind of stuff? How do you explain that? If they are doing the business of living. How do you explain all these things? How do you explain people putting drug in their arms? And how do you explain people going to immoral and criminal behavior? How do you explain that? Yet you can go to some other people who don't have a fraction of that. They're happy in their marriage. They're happy with their lives. Their children smile when they come through the door. They don't run and hide. Their mate is glad to see them. The dog is glad to see them. They're working a job that you think that you could never do. Yet they're happy. Their meal tastes great. Their bed sleeps better. Everything. And you don't understand it. You know why? Because they are serious about the business of living, being thankful, being grateful, being celebratory, enjoying the journey, knowing that where they are right now is just a temporary situation, and it will improve. And they're thankful for the network they have. They're thankful for that spouse and their children or that dog they have. They're thankful for their health, and they're thankful, that they have another opportunity to wake up, bless God Almighty, and create something. But if you are involved in the business of sorrow, there are two: the business of living and the business of sorrow. If you're involved in the business of sorrow, you could be making $1 million a day. in your heart, there'll be turmoil. You could be at the top of your professional field. In your heart, there'll be turmoil and unrest. You could have the most beautiful woman in the world laying buck naked next to you. Or you could have the most handsome man, the same thing, woman. Your mind to be somewhere else. You can have the 2.5 children, who love you and who's calling you mommy and daddy, but you won't enjoy them. No, you can have the most loyal animal that loves to see you walk through the door and all smiles with you and jumping up for joy. You'll just brush them away. You can have a most fulfilling business. You can have a position that means nothing to you. And people will see that it means nothing to you. They will always see you in turmoil and torment. Why? Because you're engaged in a business of sorrow. Why? Because you're not grateful, and you're not thankful, and you're not enjoying the journey on the way. You're measuring yourself by what someone else is doing. You're measuring yourself how far you should be now, instead of being grateful and thankful about how far you have come. Ladies and gentlemen, it's so simple. It's like pouring water out of a boot with the instructions on the bottom. It's your attitude. It's your outlook that determines your outcome. It's your mindset. It's doing correspondent actions with the right motive in mind. That's what causes you to lay on your bed and your pillow at night. That's what makes the bed soft and the pillow sweet and the sheets nice. That's what makes it. That's what makes a can of a tuna out of a can just tastes delicious, as opposed to a primary ribeye steak with asparagus and potatoes tastes horrible. That's what helps your digestion. When you're grateful and you're thankful, God Almighty, we must bless you for providing food. God, I just bless you, for a great mate. You know how many people who want that? God, I thank you for giving me children. You know how many people want that? I want to be a father. I never had children. I want to have a great relationship and a worthy marriage. I don't have that. I don't have anybody to come home to, but yet I'm still grateful. I'm grateful enough to get on here and talk to you guys. I'm grateful for this audience. I'm grateful for people listening to me all over the world, and being affected and touched by something that comes out of my mouth. That's a big responsibility. I'm grateful for having my home, my apartment. I'm grateful for the vehicle parked in the driveway. It's not my pearl white BMW 5 Series. It's not that yet. It's a RAV4 that I just love it. It gets me everywhere I needs to go. That's been with me up to Toronto to Miami. That still runs, and I'm grateful. I don't have everything I want in the refrigerator, but I'm grateful that I have food. I'm grateful that I have health to enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, I had a blood disease, called AIDS classic anemia. I've had the bone marrow transplant. Trust me, I understand great health. I've been diagnosed with a couple things. I understand the importance of great health. I've had the real vexation of my mind, not really knowing where I want to go and really what I want to do, because I was so torn and broken down and disappointed about the things of life. So I have peace of mind right now. I can't put a price on that. I am grateful. I am serious about the business of living, and I want you to be serious about the business of living. Ladies and gentlemen, you get one life. You get one life. I don't believe you come back. I believe what the scripture said. It is appointed unto man once to die, then the judgment. I'm not knocking your belief. I'm just saying what I believe. You have to live your life like you believe that. You have to live your life like you realize you're working on a finite time period. You don't have time to give away your life to sorrow and dread and regret and bitterness. You don't have time for that, because it's robbing you of today. But if you can get busy about the business of living, if you can get real serious about the business of living, everything in your life is immediately going to change. The sky is going to be clear. The food is going to taste better. The mate is going to look more lovely or more handsome. The job won't be so much drudgery. Your friends you won't take for granted. Your house is going to be the greatest thing to you. Your car, it could be blowing smoke out the tailpipe. You don't care. You're just grateful that you're not walking. Your activities, your children are going to feel more of that love. And when you put your arms around, they're going to feel like it's genuine, because believe me, they can read whether it's true or not. Your spouse is going to really know that, hey, I got a person that really loves me and values me. No. I got a person that cares about me, respects me, and treats me. I'm not talking about these cats, who they deal with you, whether you got on the income, whether you're making if you got the right income for them or not. Hell, that's not a spouse. That's nothing. You don't even need people like that in your life. You got to make a dollar sign with them. Get rid of them. They ain't doing nothing wasting your damn time. I can promise you that. But if you got someone who's really into you, for you, who just lights up when you come around, you are extraordinary blessed, ladies and gentlemen. Be grateful on your journey to building a business with that person. Be grateful. You got a little puppy dog and somebody meet you with a smile. Hey, you know what? Pet them. They want to see you just as much as they want to see you so much. Show them some things back. If you see someone hungry out there, you got an apple, you got 3 apples, give them 1. Don't cost you anything to alleviate someone else's suffering and pain, because what you give out, you will get. Ladies and gentlemen, you got one life. Get serious about it. Get serious about the business of living. Watch this stream again. Apply this stream. Get out of the business of sorrow. The woe is me. The nobody know what I've been through. I don't get the break. It's the man keeping me down. It's my woman keeping me down. It's my husband keeping me down. It's the job keeping me down. No one keeps you down but you. You're not a tree. If you don't like something in your life, change it and move. And yes, I said it. Because I refuse to align my life with anyone or anything that stops me from the business of living. What do you choose? What do you want? Because not to choose, and you're choosing one or the other. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd ask you guys to hit that like and subscribe button. I believe I bought something. I believe I bought something here that to pull the curtains down. That's how much. That's what I feel about my streams. My job is to come to be effective. My job is not to entertain you. My job is to inspire you to action, to find a way to win in whatever endeavor you want to do. If I have not done that, I have failed on this channel. And this channel doesn't deserve your support if I'm not bringing that into your life. I'm not here to talk about, how to get women and how to get riches and 5 steps, to prosperity, and 12 steps to a better body, and all that. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm telling you, if you are fulfilled, if you are serious about the business of living, all those things will come to you and you will enjoy them while you're on your way to them. Hey guys, bless you much. Kimmy, wow, Mr. Fitzgerald, did the transplant work? Yeah, yes, it did, Miss Kimmy. That was 25 years ago. I'm sitting before you right now. I think it worked very well. Was it just the red blood cells was affected? The disease called aplastic anemia shut down my whole bone marrow. Bone marrow produces the red blood cell. So long as you gave me a blood transfusion, I was like someone who had a new battery. Why? Because the new blood had oxygen, it had platelets, it had white blood cells. But that was 26 years ago, and I give the glory to God Almighty for deciding to heal me while I could walk on His earth. I got very, very involved with learning about hematologists, I'm a big proponent of the scripture in Exodus that says the life is in the blood, and God Almighty knows what the heck He's talking about. So I'm very, very conscious about how I deal with my body and how I deal with my mind, because and to this day, no one can tell you what happened. I know what happened. I had a lot of stress back then. I had broken up with someone, and her face comes into my mind right now. It's a 23-year-old and a 24-year-old young kid, and I thought I needed her, and she just walked out and I was so stressed and so brokenhearted, and it started turning on switches in me. That stress started turning on switches. I knew exactly what happened. And all of a sudden I was in a death spiral. No, God Almighty have mercy and grace upon me. I had people who surrounded me, people who came, and people who spoke life in me when I couldn't speak of myself. So I know what the heck. I know what the heck that happened. A couple of years later, there was a diagnosis with something going on in my small intestine. I don't deal with that neither. So I'm thankful for life, and I'm thankful for my health, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you guys. Your mind can either bless you or curse you. Your mind can either be engaged in the business of living or the business of sorrow. If you engage in the business of living, you're going to get the benefits of the business of living. If you engage in the business of sorrow, you are going to get the consequences of the business of sorrow. There is no in between. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you guys very, very much. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe to this channel. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month, and with your help, I know I will achieve it, and then have bigger and better goals for that. But the subscribers I have, I'm thankful for each and every one of you. I don't dare sit up there and say, "Wow, this thing isn't growing." Like, I don't dare. I am grateful. As far as for each one taking time to listen to me. I'm influencing people, and people are listening to me around the world over. So my job is to serve you. I appreciate that. And no, Kimmy, you wasn't nosy. My job is just to answer your questions so this can help someone else. So you wasn't nosy at all. You by far one of my biggest supporters, along with Two Visions, and I appreciate you guys so much. So guys, have an awesome day. Enjoy it. Get serious about the business of living, or you will be serious about the business of sorrow. God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in.